Hi, welcome to our daily encounter. Yesterday we talked about worship and how we ought to engage in worship and join heaven in worshiping God for all that He is. And so we had, in a sense, us on earth joining in with what's going on in heaven. Today in our reading and in our devotion, we'll focus on heaven actually getting engaged in what's going on earth. In our reading today, we have the fifth, sixth, and seventh trumpet blowing, and this is a continuation of our reading yesterday. And in each of these blowing of the trumpets, we see things occurring on the earth because of these blowing of the trumpets. And this really shows us that perhaps we underestimate just how much heaven gets involved with what goes on earth. You know, we look at our circumstances, situations we get into, and many times we just take them at face value. We just think, well, this is just how the things just so happen to occur. And we think, well, you know, this was just bad luck, or that was great fortune. And you know, that might be, in a sense, harmless terminology, but sometimes it might relay the wrong message, that somehow we're left up to chance here on this earth, and that really we are kind of ultimately in control of our destinies, that we can somehow cause the events of things to turn out in the way that we plan them, and all the while ignoring the fact that there is another element to reality, and that is heaven. We have a God in all His wisdom and in all His power looking over the things of the earth and maintaining things and directing things in accordance to His will. And then you have these myriad of angels that are out doing His bidding and carrying out His will upon the earth and influencing the things that go on this earth. I really like the book of Revelations, if for no other reason than this, that what it does is it takes us out of our viewpoint of being here on earth and trying to look up into heaven, and it really brings us into heaven to look down on the earth, to see things, how things look from a heavenly perspective. And you see just how much they do get involved in this on this earth. So what does that mean for us practically? What that means for us is that we ought to be busy about the work of prayer. Another thing that you walk away with after reading the book of Revelation is just how important prayer is. That prayer, our prayers actually enter into heaven itself. We read about this yesterday in chapter 5 and chapter 8 about the fact that the incense that the angels have are the prayers of the saints. And then you have also these bowls before the altar in chapter 8 that's mixed with the incense and with the prayers of the saints. And this incense is rising up before the throne. It's having an influence, an impact on heaven itself. That's amazing to me, to think that we puny little humans can offer up prayers and it actually moves heaven. And when heaven is moved, heaven moves earth. And so you have this effect where we're lifting up our prayers to God and they're going up like incense to Him. And then it's almost as though we're moving the very heart of God, and He puts His angels into action and they come down to the earth and implement the answer to the prayers of the saints. It's an amazing thing. It's a supernatural thing. We think of prayer as just something that we mutter, you know, maybe before we eat and before we go to bed, but prayer is about the closest to the supernatural that we can get. And it is supernatural. We are talking to the very God who created us, that powerful, almighty Creator. And so we ought to be engaged in prayer, to see it as a privilege that heaven is open to our prayers, and that it has an effect in heaven, and that it can actually change the things on this earth. So if we don't walk away with anything else today in our reading, let's walk away with that. Where yesterday we were dedicated to worship, and of course we should continue that today, let's make today a day of prayer, where we really focus on praying to God, bringing our cares, our anxieties, our fears, our needs, whatever it is that's laying heavy on our hearts, and bring them to the Lord, and know that it's entering into the throne room itself. And we can have confidence that God hears our prayers and that it makes a difference. So thank you guys for watching the video today. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. I thank you guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.